Another thing that I've realized about this kind of stuff is if you think about strength and power when you are running, it's very different than strength or power when you are just standing. So after you take your first step when you're running, well, on the very first step, you're just standing still. So you can produce a lot of power because the ground is there. It's just standing there, or sitting there, and you're not moving. So you can put a lot of power into it. After an athlete gets into about 5 yards of his or her sprint, they're going to be at, well, actually, even just the first step, you're going to be moving at about 8 miles an hour. After the second step, you're going to be moving at 10 to 12 miles an hour. And once they get about 10 yards in, most athletes, if they're decently fast, are going to be up over 15 miles an hour. Has anybody ever stood on a treadmill, next to a treadmill going 15 miles an hour, and put your foot down on it? Okay? It takes your foot and like pulls it back. At 20 miles an hour, so that's what a lot of athletes are able to get up to in a decent 40, at their top speed. At 20 miles an hour, that treadmill just takes your foot and just like throws it backwards. Now imagine having 70-pound dumbbells in your hand and stepping on that. What would happen? You would die. You'd get hurt. You would be hurt really bad. Okay, that's how fast, though, that the power and the force needs to be applied into the ground. So doing stuff with like super heavy weights, like you're not going to be able to apply it that fast. Like it's just impossible. You would fall. Even think about taking 30-pound dumbbells and stepping on there and trying to do a lunge. Like it's not going to happen. Or if you were doing a squat and the floor dropped out from under you as you were coming up, and if you had, if you wanted to keep up with it, you now have to move at 15 miles an hour. Not going to happen.